Integration and system testing. The individual program units or programs are integrated and tested as a complete system to ensure that the software requirements have been met. After testing, the software system is delivered to the customer. Operation and maintenance. The system is installed and put into practical use. Maintenance involves correcting errors which were not discovered in earlier stages of the life cycle, improving the implementation of the system units and enhancing the system's service as new requirements are discovered. Now let us see waterfall model problems. Inflexible partitioning of the project into distinct stages make it difficult to respond to changes customer requirements. Therefore, this model is only appropriate when the requirements are well understood and changes will be fairly limited during the design process. Few business systems have stable requirements. The waterfall model is mostly used for large systems engineering projects where a system is developed at several sites. In those circumstances, the plan-driven nature of the waterfall model helps coordinate the work. Now, let us see incremental development. Incremental software development, which is a fundamental part of agile approaches, is better than a waterfall approach for most business, e-commerce and business and personal systems. Incremental development reflects the way that we solve problems. We rarely work out a complete problem solution in advance but move towards a solution in a series of steps, backtracking when we realize that we have made a mistake. By developing the software incrementally, it is cheaper and easier to make changes in the software as it is being developed. Each increment or version of the system incorporates some of the functionality that is needed by the customer. Generally, the early increments of the system include the most important or most urgently required functionality. This means that the customer can evaluate the system at a relatively early stage in the development to see if it delivers what is required. If not, then only the current increment has to be changed and possibly new functionality defined for later increments. Now let us see incremental development benefits. The cost of the accommodating changing customer requirements is reduced. The amount of analysis and documentation that has to be redone is much less than is required with the waterfall model. For it is easier to get customer feedback on the development work that has been done. Customers can comment on demonstration of the software and see how much has been implemented. More rapid delivery and deployment of useful software to the customer is possible. Customers are able to use and gain value from the customer earlier than is possible with a waterfall process. Let us see incremental development problems. The process is not visible. Managers need regular deliverable to measure progress. If systems are developed quickly, it is not cost effective to produce documents that reflect every version of the system. System structure tends to degrade. New increments are added as new increments are added unless time and money is spent on refactoring to improve the software. Regular change tends to corrupt its structure. Incorporating further software changes becomes increasingly difficult and costly. Now let us see spiral model. Identification. This phase starts with gathering the business requirements in the baseline spiral. In the subsequent spirals, as the product matures, identification of the system requirements, subsystem requirements and unit requirements are all done in this phase. This phase also includes understanding the system requirements by continuous communication between the customer and the system analysis. At the end of the spiral, the product is deployed in the identified market. Design. The design phase starts with the conceptual design in the baseline spiral and involves architectural design, logical design of modules, physical product design and the final design in the subsequent spirals. Construct or build. The construct phase refers to the production of the actual software product at every spiral. In the baseline spiral, when the product is just thought of and the design is being developed, a POC, proof of concept, is developed in this phase to get customer feedback. Then in the subsequent spirals with higher clarity on requirements and design details, a working model of the software called build is produced with a version number. These builds are sent to the customer for feedback. Now let us see evaluation and risk analysis. Risk analysis includes identifying, estimating and monitoring the technical feasibility and management risks such as schedule slippage and cost overrun. After testing the build at the end of the first iteration, the customer evaluates the software and provides feedback. Spiral model application. When there is a budget constraint and risk evaluation is important for medium to high risk projects. Long term project commitment because of potential changes to economic priorities as the requirements change with time. Customer is not sure of their requirements, which are usually the case. Requirements are complex and need evaluation to get clarity. New product line which should be released in phases to get enough customer feedback. Significant changes are expected in the product during development cycle. Now let us see the advantages of spiral SDLC model are as follows. Changing requirements can be accommodated, allows extensive use of the prototypes. Requirements can be captured more accurately. Users see the system early. Development can be divided into smaller parts and the risky parts can be developed earlier, which helps in better risk management. The disadvantages of spiral SDLC model are as follows. Management is more complex. End of the project may not be known early, not suitable for small or low risk projects and could be expensive for small projects. Process is complex. Spiral may go on indefinitely. Large number intermediate stages requires excessive documentation. Now let us see reuse oriented software engineering. Based on systematic reuse where systems are integrated from existing components or quotes, commercial off-the-shelf systems, process stages, component analysis, requirement modification, system design with reuse, development and integration. Reuse is now the standard approach for building many types of business systems. Types of software component. Web services that are developed according to service standards and which are available for remote invocation. Collections of objects that are developed as a package to be integrated with a component framework such as .NET or J2EE. Standalone software systems codes that are configured for use in a particular environment. Now let us see process activities. Real software processes are interleaved sequences of technical, collaborative and managerial activities with the overall goal of specifying, designing, implementing and testing a software system. The four basic process activities of specification, development, validation and evaluation are organized differently in different development processes. In the waterfall model, they are organized in sequence, whereas in the incremental model, they are interleaved. Software specification. The process of establishing what services are required and the constraints on the system's operation and development. Requirements engineering process. Feasibility study. Is it technically and financially feasible to build the system? Requirement elicitation and analysis. What do the system stakeholders require or expect from the system? Requirements specification, defining the requirements in detail. Requirements validation, checking the validity of the requirements. The requirements engineering process. See the figure. Software design and implementation. The process of converting the system specification into an executable system. Software design. design a software structure that realizes the specification, implementation, translate this structure into an executable program. The activities of design and implementation are closely related and may be interleaved. A general model of the design process. Design activities. Architectural design, where you identify the overall structure of the system, the principal components, sometimes called subsystems or modules, their relationships and how they are distributed. Interface design, where you define the interfaces between system components. Components design, where you take each system component and design how it will operate. Database design, where you design the system data structures and how these are to be represented in a database. Software validation. Verification and validation is intended to show that a system conforms to its specification and meets the requirements of the system customer. Involves checking and review processes and system testing. System testing involves executing the system with test cases that are derived from the requirement elicitation and analysis. What do the system stakeholders require or expect from the system? Requirements specification, defining the requirements in detail. Requirements validation, checking the validity of the requirements. The requirements engineering process. See the figure. Software design and implementation. The process of converting the system specification into an executable system. Software design. Design a software structure that realizes the specification, implementation, translate this structure into an executable program. The activities of design and implementation are closely related and may be interleaved. A general model of the design process. Design activities. Architectural design, where you identify the overall structure of the system, the principal components, sometimes called subsystems or modules, their relationships and how they are distributed. Interface design, where you define the interfaces between system components. Components design, where you take each system component and design how it will operate. Database design, where you design the system data structures and how these are to be represented in a database. Software validation. Verification and validation is intended to show that a system conforms to its specification and meets the requirements of the system customer. Involves checking and review processes and system testing. System testing involves executing the system with test cases that are derived from the specification of real data to be processed by the system. Testing is the most commonly used V&V activity. Now let us see stages of testing. The testing stages. Development or component testing. Individual components are tested independently. Components may be functions or objects or coherent groupings of these entities. System testing. Testing of the system as a whole. Testing of emergent properties is particularly important. Acceptance testing. Testing with customer data to check that system meets the customers' needs. See the figure. Testing phases in a plan-driven software process. Now let us see software evolution. Software is inherently flexible and can change as requirements change through changing business circumstances. The software that supports the business must also evolve and change. Although there has been a demarcation between development and evolution maintenance, this is increasingly irrelevant as fewer and fewer systems are completely new. System evolution. See the figure. Requirements engineering. Requirements engineering process. The process of establishing the services that the customer requires from a system and the constraints under which it operates and is developed. The requirements themselves are the descriptions of the system services and constraints that are generated during the requirements engineering process. Types of requirements. User requirements. Statements in natural language plus diagrams of the services that a system provides and its operational constraints written for customers. System requirements. A structured document setting out detailed description of the system's functions, services, and operational constraints. Now let us see functional and non-functional requirements. Functional requirements, statements of services that the system should provide, how the system should react to particular inputs and how the system should behave in particular situations, may state what the system should not do. Non-functional requirements, constraints on the services or functions offered by the system such as timing constraints, constraints on the development process, standards, etc. often apply to the system as a whole rather than individual features or services. Domain requirements, constraints on the system from the domain of operation. Functional requirements describe the functionality or system services depend on the type of the software, expected users, and the type of the system where the software is used. For functional user requirements may be high-level statements of what the system should do. For functional system requirements should describe the system service in detail. Functional requirements for the MHC PMS. A user shall be able to search the appointments lists for all clinics. The system shall generate each day for each clinic a list of the patients who are expected to attend appointments that day. Each staff member using the system shall be uniquely identified by his or her 8-digit employee number. Requirements in imprecision. Problems arise when the requirements are not precisely stated. Ambiguous requirements may be interpreted in different ways by developers and users. For consider the term search in the requirement 1. User intention search for a patient name across all appointments in all clinics. Developer interpretation search for patient name in an individual clinic. User chooses clinic, then search. Requirements, completeness and consistency. In principle, the requirements should be both complete and consistent. Complete, they should include descriptions of all facilities required. Consistent, there should be no conflicts or contradictions in the description of the system facilities. In practice, it is impossible to produce a complete and consistent requirements document. Non-functional requirements. These define system properties and constraints. Example, reliability, required response time, and storage requirements. Constraints are input-output, device capability, system representations, etc.